What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and tablets everywhere. They just keep coming. You have the Galaxy Tab 8.9, 10.1 coming. You have the Evo View 4G, the HTC Flyer, all these different devices coming out. The G Slate just launched, and now you have the BlackBerry PlayBook. It was announced at DEF CON in 2010 in San Francisco, and it's a pretty well-equipped device. It comes in 16, 32, 64 gigabyte flavors between $499 and $699 respectively, and it's a pretty well-spec'd unit with a 1 gigahertz dual-core processor, 5 megapixel camera, front-facing 3 megapixel camera, which is one of the highest spec cameras, front-facing at least, on the market. So it has a 7-inch display. It may be that sweet spot for a lot of people, but is this the tablet for you? Is this the best one on the market? Does it have a great feature set on the inside? We're going to find that out and more in PhoneDog's BlackBerry PlayBook review, which starts right now. Here it is, the BlackBerry PlayBook. After months and months of rumors, speculations, code names, the Cobalt, the Black Pad, all of that stuff, and seeing it behind glass at DEF CON, it's finally here in the hands. BlackBerry PlayBook, 16, 32, 64 gigabyte variations. They cost $499, $599, $699 respectively. Now, specs-wise, it's a pretty nice tablet. 1 gigahertz, dual-core Cortex A9 CPU, 7-inch display, very nice display at that. 5 megapixel camera on the back side, 3 megapixel front-facing camera, and that 7-inch screen rather is capable of 1024 by 600 pixels. So I mean, it's a nice display. It's a good tablet. 1 gigabyte of RAM. It's one of those things where it's not like their mid-range smartphones. A lot of people have been kind of fed up with BlackBerry as of late because when all these devices are launching with dual-core processors and, at the very least, high-end Snapdragon processors, they've been launching these kind of ho-hum 600 megahertz devices and 624 like the BlackBerry Torch and things like that. So, this is a high-end unit, and this is, a big departure for RIM, both on the specs front and on the software front. It's the first device to run RIM's newest platform. It's based on QNX, and you can see the differences here. It kind of has a WebOS look and feel to it. You can see, WebOS combined with BlackBerry 6, because you can see you can slide between the different things here. And overall, animations on this device, absolutely fantastic. I haven't had any lag whatsoever in actually using stuff, and there are a lot of reasons why, but you can see, swipe up to see the applications. I mean, everything very smooth, everything looks great. I'll show you some pictures in just a few minutes that take advantage of how beautiful the screen is. Go down from there. But you can see it's a different looking tablet than all the other ones. You have 16 gigabytes down here. And this is, you can tell it's a very corporate-minded tablet because it's not curved like the G Slate or the Motorola Zoom. I mean, it's a flat slab. I mean, it's, a big hunk of rectangular slab, which I happen to like. I like the design a lot. It's kind of this matte back here with the BlackBerry logo on the back and 5 megapixel camera, as you can see. And then you have your media buttons up here, volume down, volume up, play, pause, and then your power button, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack over here, and then your speakers are over here on the side. Now, I had to be careful when I was listening to stuff because the tendency is to hold your hands like this when you're listening or when you're using the tablet, so you have to get used to putting your hands down here or holding it like this or something like that, because you do want to naturally put your hands over the speakers. But then, you get some new gesture controls with this, and let's just do a quick walkthrough of what it looks like. Up here, you have the ability to lock the screen in portrait or in landscape, depending on what you prefer. I have it locked in landscape, but you can tilt it around. Let me turn that off so you can see. You can tilt it around if you want to, and it goes all the way around, so you can use it upside down like that if you want to. I'm going to lock that back. And then you have Bluetooth capabilities, and there's this program called BlackBerry Bridge, and we'll get into that more a little bit later in the video or a little bit later in the review, because BlackBerry Bridge, BlackBerry Bridge is one of those things, the success of this device really hinges on BlackBerry Bridge, and you have to have a BlackBerry for the most part to take advantage of a lot of the features of the BlackBerry PlayBook. So, for those people that want to buy one but have an iPhone or have an Android device, you're really limiting yourself on this unit, and that may or may not be the biggest issue with this device. Bluetooth, or maybe rather, Bluetooth turned off at the moment, Wi-Fi on under me, battery life 78% at the moment. Battery life, has been pretty decent so far. It has a decent sized battery. And then you can see here are the settings. Not that different from the carrier or from the manufacturer's actual menu interface on BlackBerry OS 6.0. You can see, or BlackBerry OS 6. You can see, you know, the about information, Wi-Fi, software updates. Just go down through the general settings here. Security, security wipes there. It's not tremendously different, but you have HDMI capabilities here, some screen capabilities, some new sounds, and then we can go in, let's just say, check for software updates, check Bluetooth, and then you can activate BlackBerry Bridge from there. Now, the way to access your menu, a couple different ways. To get to that setting, you can either click the little wrench thing there, or you can swipe down from the screen. The actual frame of the display is touch sensitive, so you can touch down. Now, it's kind of reverse. It's kind of counterintuitive because you actually slide up to access the menu. Now, what the human body or what the human mind wants to do when it's up like this is swipe down like that to pull the menu back down. Well, it doesn't work that way. You have to actually swipe up again to pull it down. So swipe up to pull it up, swipe up to pull it down. So it's one of those things, like I can't tell you how many times that I've been working with this. I've done that, and then I've done that thinking it's going to bring it back down, and it doesn't. So it just takes some getting used to, but you know, it's one of those things you just expect to pull it back down that way versus doing it like that. But otherwise, you know, looks great. Pictures are absolutely fantastic. Let me walk you through first, though. Let's do the keyboard, and let's find an application where we can take advantage of the keyboard. Let's do Word to Go. That's probably a good one. If we want to take advantage of the keyboard, duh. Let's see, recent documents. We're going to start a new one, and we're going to load it up. Here's what the keyboard looks like. You can see it there, and actually I'm going to pull back out here, turn orientation lock off. So you can see here's what the keyboard looks like. Tactile, easy to use. The quick brown fox is happy that it is Friday. Apparently I can't type. You know, although I will say there is some lag on this keyboard as opposed to some of the other options out there. But the benefit is it's a 7-inch display, so even in landscape, you can almost use it thumb to thumb for pretty easy typing. So in portrait, bring it down, that's what it looks like. So the quick brown fox is ready to go home. It's a little bit easier to type in portrait. Shift it up into bold, you get the idea. And then we can go over here and correct some of these words quick, that, and you get the idea. So landscape mode keyboard, you know, a little bit harder to use, and it's a little bit harder. It seems like it's harder to use on a flat surface to me than some of the keyboards like the honeycomb keyboard or the iOS keyboard. I could be wrong. I think it's the space bar that's a little bit hard to use. It doesn't seem to want to cooperate when doing it fast paced. But that's portrait, that's landscape keyboard. Let's take a look at the browser, and I'll show you some of the benefits of that. They really have improved the browser on this device. It is pretty fantastic. Let's go to PhoneDog. PhoneDog.com. Don't you love how I can't talk while I'm typing things in? Because, yeah, I'm not that talented. Okay, so PhoneDog.com loading up, and you can see what it looks like here. And up here, again, you swipe down, and it brings up the relevant menu for that application you're in. So it's not always going to bring up the BlackBerry stuff, the settings, the internal settings, things like that. It brings up the fact that we have one tab open. We open up a second tab if we want to. You can see that it's no title. We jump back to PhoneDog. So the overall, I mean, they've really done a great job of refining this. I mean, you have your downloads that you're working on. You have actual browser options. You can go back there, and you can see here's the site now that it's fully loaded. So pinch to zoom has been fantastic. Let me show you. Pinch to zoom has been very good. A little bit of checkerboarding every now and again, but nothing at all. See, it's doing it a little bit, but that 1 gigahertz Cortex processor, dual-core processor, has really done a good job of keeping this thing speedy, even with Flash running in the background and more. So just fantastic browser, and you get the option. You can remove this bar if you want to by clicking that. You can add this. We're going to bookmark it. So now when we go to our bookmarks, you see PhoneDog right there. Now we can go back to our second tab if we wanted to, and we can always swipe down to see that actual menu. Now when we're done, we swipe it up like that, and you can see, just like WebOS, you have these little cards that sit here in the middle, and you can swipe back and forth between them. So if you have a document, a browser, you know, your browser open, you have something else open, let's say, just which that's going to open the browser as well. Let me think of something else. Music. So we can go back and see that all those are open at the moment. So again, you know, just going into stuff like music, you know, they've refined it, they made it look better, more consumer friendly. So this device appeals to more individuals than just business people. I mean, I see a market, you know, from consumers, for first-time tablet users. Now, the problem with this tablet, in case you haven't figured it out yet, look at the applications. You see Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, AOL, Facebook, Twitter, and more in here. I'll have to go back through and think of which other ones. But just for those 6, for example, see the application icons. Those aren't actual applications. They're shortcuts to the internet. You put in Gmail, bam, put in Hotmail. It just routes you to the internet. There's no native email, no native calendar, and no native contact support on this device out of the box. That is a huge, huge turnoff, in my opinion. That's going to be a huge turnoff for a lot of people. You cannot email. I mean, it all redirects to the internet. You can get on Gmail on the internet if you want to, but there's no native Gmail application or mail application for that matter on this device. What they're trying to do is they're trying to push people that have BlackBerry smartphones to take advantage of that BlackBerry Bridge program, where once the two are connected via Bluetooth, you can access email, you can access calendar, you can access contacts, and you can access BlackBerry Messenger, things like that. But without a BlackBerry, if you have an iPhone, you have a WebOS device, you have an Android device, and you come over to this, you're out of luck. You have no ability to, out of the box right now at least, you have no native email application, no contacts, no calendars. Personally, that's a huge turnoff for me. It may not bother you. You may be getting it just for the web browser or just for the picture or video capabilities. But for me, that's a big, I would use a tablet as a personal information management tool, and you can't use it at all without having the BlackBerry with BlackBerry Bridge. And as of right now, AT&T isn't even supporting the BlackBerry Bridge. So if you have a BlackBerry Torch, BlackBerry Bold 9000, BlackBerry Bold 9700 with AT&T, you're not even capable of using this yet. So it really restricts it down. It's really kind of frustrating, and it's leading some to believe that maybe they should have launched it when a few more of the kinks were worked out. But keep that in mind. There aren't native applications out of the box. So really, when you look at this, you have browser, you have Adobe Reader, you got that there, okay. But when you really look at this applications list, you have Bing Maps, Clock, Pictures. It's really a select few applications that are actually native applications and not redirects to the web browser.